Maaf Kak, ke unmute.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and whenever and wherever you are. The Honorable Rector of Sriwijaya University, Mr. Professor Dr. Insinyur Haji Anis Sagaf, MSCE IPU, who could not come here but support our event. Our respected moderator, Mrs. Najmah, S.KM, M.PH, Ph.D. The honorable invited speaker from across New Zealand, Mrs. Maggie, Eyre. The Honorable Sriwijaya University's guest, students, Vice President of Sriwijaya University Student Organization Committee, the presenters, our respected guest, main participant from Sriwijaya University, and participant from undergraduate student, master student around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to welcome you to the international webinar held by Sriwijaya University Student Executive Board with the theme, Rise Yourself through personal branding. First of all, let us praise to our beloved God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companion who has brought us from the darkness to the lightness. In this special event, we have several agendas as follows. First is the opening ceremony. Second is an opening speech from our Sriwijaya University's Vice President. Third is the presenting of the moderator's CV. Fourth is the presenting of the invited speaker's CV. Fifth is a presentation session by our invited speaker. Sixth is a discussion session. Seventh is a closing statement by our invited speaker. Next is the documentation session. And lastly is the closing ceremony. However, there will also be an extra challenge for the participants, so stay tuned. Before we continue to the next agenda, I would like to remind all of the participants to turn on their camera and turn off their microphone during the webinar. Thank you. Now to the next agenda is an opening speech, as well as to officially open this event by our Sriwijaya University's Vice President student, Mr. Fahri Reza. To Mr. Fahri Reza, the floor is yours.
Okay, Nabila, can you hear it?
Yes, we could hear you.
Okay. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's me to give a welcome speech, and I'll start with salam. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Wabihi nasta'in ala umuri dunia wadin, wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil abdiya yursalin, Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain amma ba'du. Good morning, everybody. How are you?
I'm very calm from the Hello.
Hopefully, everyone,
I'm good.
everything is going well.
Linguistic Register of Pasca Sarjana Warmadiwa University, and we're located in Denpasar, Bali. And I'm graduated from literature faculty in the undergraduate student, and today is magister student. Thank you. Hello, my name is Maria Angela Suteja, and I call Angel.
Keep continue, Fahri. Your speaker is mute, Fahri. Open your speaker, Fahri. It's mute.
Nah, okay. Jadi the host is not allowing participant to unmute. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll continue. I would like to say sorry. Okay, maybe I'll continue with salam. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya, alhamdulillah, amma ba'du. Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone fine and hopefully keep healthy and stay productive during pandemic. And I'm sorry for technical misconnection. And the first, let me introduce myself. My name is Fahreza, and I'm a student and also as a Vice President of Student Council, Student Government of BMKM, University of Sriwijaya. And this year, it is my pleasure to welcome you guys in here. So thank you for joining this. And I would like to say hello to everyone here. And the first, Miss Najmah. Hello, Miss. How are you? Hope you're fine.
Good, Fahri. Thank you to organize this amazing conference.
Okay. Miss Najmah, she is a lecturer of public health faculty of University of Sriwijaya. And also in this webinar, Miss Najmah as a moderator. And then also our special guest and the only Miss Maggie Eyre. How are you, Miss? Good morning. Maybe in bahasa you can say I say apa kabar. Yeah, and you can say that to all my friends. Apa kabar semuanya gitu.
I'm good.
And maybe the answer is baik-baik saja atau alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Okay. And thank you, Miss, for joining with us. And then so I give a best appreciation from our organizing committee by Ministry of Research and Data of BMKM University of Sriwijaya, and so also all of my friends. I'm sorry, so I cannot mention you one by one, but this is for me, best regard and warm regard for me, Fareza. Ladies and gentlemen, so I just give one tell something that tell today we are going to face to many challenges. I think that many challenges that the first we know that we're facing to about the pandemic situation. Over one year we're going to into this pandemic. So I don't know. It's very doubtful. It's very awful and it's too bad itu. We do not can socialists can do not meet again and each other to direct gitu. No, but this is challenge, not this problem gitu. And then in the another challenge, we have a condition about the digitalization and globalization era. We know that, guess what? Every single year, time by time, second by second, day by day, every year, digital world growing fast. And now, so what can we do? What can we do? So we must to compete with other people in the world. We must to survive about this condition. So this answer is how. Nah, how can you do that? And the answer is we are going to looking for about the answer with our special guest, well, Miss Maggie Eyre. Miss Eyre, thank you for joining us. And I heard it is second time you join us, join in University Sriwijaya, right? Okay, with Miss Najmah, and so I'm happy to hear that. And so, guess what? I'm also watching you on YouTube videos. It's great, what good person and what good person, and so can it's look best experience for me. And I think enough. Hopefully, and you all guys, all my friends, enjoy this moment, enjoy this webinar, international webinar. Rest yourself through personal branding, and join this moment. And I think finally, it's for me to head out. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for sharing the wonderful speech and sparing some time for this event. Moving on to the next agenda. It is now my pleasure to introduce our speakers for this event. The first is the moderator, Mrs. Najmah, S.KM, M.PH, Ph.D. To the committee, please do share screen Mrs. Najmah's CV. Mrs. Najmah, S.KM, M.PH, Ph.D. She is currently a lecturer in Health Public Faculty of Sriwijaya University. She is also currently a professor assistant at Monash University, Australia since 2020. From 2015 to 2019, she took her professional doctorate degree, PhD title, in Auckland University of Technology with a scholarship by the New Zealand Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade, MFAT. In 2012, she also had a short course in KIT, Royal Tropical Institute, Amsterdam, under Netherlands Partnership Fellowship. In 2008 to 2009, she also took her Master of Public Health degree in Epidemiology and Biostatistic in University of Melbourne on behalf of Australia Partnership Scholarship. In 2001 to 2005, she took her Public Health Bachelor degree in Sriwijaya University with PPA Scholarship. She graduated from Senior High School number 8 Palembang, Junior High School number 35 Palembang, Islamic Elementary School Az-Zahiria Palembang. And now I would like to invite her to take the whole floor of this event. To Mrs. Najmah, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Nabila and the team. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Congratulations for student representative of Sriwijaya University who have prepared this event less than 10 days, and you can organize over 500 students who come today and over 800 students and others enroll on this event. I would like to start to read the Maggie Eyre short curriculum PD. This statement is, I like this statement. We like people who are real. People will warm to you if you are authentic in your interaction with them. Your job is to make your audience comfortable and at ease, so they will listen to every word you say. Maggie Eyre. This is a short biography of Maggie Eyre. She is currently a director of Fresh Air in Auckland, New Zealand, a niche quality training company offering courses and coaching to a diverse range of clients around the world. Maggie also an internationally and recognized expert in personal presence and leadership motivation with over 30 years experience in business, public relations, and performance. And she also had experience to be a presentation trainer, stylist, and media advisors to former New Zealand Prime Minister Helen Carr and other important politicians worldwide. Her work has recognized in Time magazines and other international media in the United Kingdom, China, Canada, and Dubai. You can stalk it on Maggie Eyre social media with the Maggie Eyre or Press Air in Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube. You can stalk it now. And this is the currently books that she published. That the current book that she published is Being You: How to Build Your Personal Brand and Confidence. And she will talk about that today. And other books is a Speak in Public with Confidence and Speak Easy that have been published in many languages, including in our languages, Bahasa Indonesia. Maggie, floor is yours.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to see you, Najmah. Hi, everybody. Look, it's sunny outside, and I'm just really, really happy that I'm here with you. This is, I'm going into my third week of my fourth lockdown, and this is exciting to have an excuse to put my lipstick on, put some makeup on, and, you know, not wear my jogging clothes, just to be with you. But I don't know how many of you know that Najmah was a student of mine at AUT, at the Auckland University of Technology for a while. And I just think it's really special that we've continued to talk online and in text. And Najmah, I just want to really acknowledge you because I know how much you care about all of these students who are present today. And I just want to just start off and tell you a little bit about my background before we get into talking about personal branding. I started off, had a very humble beginning with my mum and dad and 4 brothers. And I was raised by beautiful, kind Catholic nuns. The school was called Marist. And I really, really look back at that time as very, very special because they guided me and they're forever in my memories. I was a trained school teacher and graduated from training college, but I had a very short-lived career in school teaching. The classroom wasn't right for me. I just really wanted to be an actress and be on the stage. And I was awarded a grant by the Queen Elizabeth II Arts Council and went to study in America, in New York, and study acting, study dance. And I ended up actually teaching movement to actors, professional actors in Austin, Texas. I came back to New Zealand and I joined a professional theatre company called Theatre Corporate. I don't know whether you can hear that echoing, Najmah, but I can hear it. Can you hear that, Najmah? I'll keep on speaking, but I can hear quite a lot of sound from people talking in the background. I don't know whether a few people are not on mute. I just thought I'd share that. Can you hear that, Najmah?
Yes, yes, I can hear. The committee would you mind to control the voice, please? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just got a little bit distracted, so I really appreciate that, Najmah. Thank you so much. Anyway, I worked in professional theatre, and after the theatre closed, out of the ashes rose a performing arts school, of which I was the artistic director. And I did that for many years, and then eventually went into public relations. During this time, I was working as an actress on television and film. Some of you would have heard of the soap in New Zealand called Shortland Street. Well, I died in that soap, and I hope that they bring me back one day because I absolutely loved it. I was on for six episodes, which was a lot of fun. So my background is, you know, school teaching and professional theatre and business. I worked in the largest public relations company, as you would have read in my bio. But today, my job is to help people shine on the stage. I really like the title. I like the fact that Najmah or somebody is using the word rising, you know, rising your personal branding, because to me, that just means growing your brand. And what is a personal brand? What is it? It's everything about who you are. How does the world see you as a human being, personally and professionally? And a personal brand is derived exclusively from you. It's about your authenticity, but it's also derived from your passions, your values, your mind, your heart, and what you believe in, what's at the core of what you believe in personally and professionally. So it's all about everything that people see. And I started writing this book, Being You. I actually didn't want to write it, to be truthful. My publisher talked me into it, and he said, Maggie, you always talk about authenticity and you always talk about personal brand and your clients. It was actually the toughest book to write, because when you write about personal branding, you've got to look at yourself, and you've got to look at yourself in the mirror every day. And some days I would have to say to myself, am I being authentic? No, I'm not. I'm being inauthentic. So you have to own a lot about who you are. And you have to also really think deep down about how you come across as a presenter. Are you being natural in your body language? Is that your real voice? For many years, I did not like my voice. 80% of my clients in New Zealand have English as a second language. You have English as a second language. I love working with people as a second language. And you know why? Because you don't use a lot of jargon. So you have to really accept and respect who you are. And your presentation skills are very, very important, because that's what people see. People are hearing your voice, and then they're hearing your stories and your content. When you look at your personal brand, I want you to think about what is real, what is authenticity. And I'll tell you a very short story. My brother, who's a writer and a chartered accountant and runs my business, Fresh Eyre, I said, what did you think of me on television the other day? This was years ago on a breakfast show. And he said, that was the most natural you've been, the most real. And I said, well, what about all the other times? And he said, all the other times you've been performing, you've been acting. And that really shocked me. And it made me realize, gosh, there's a big difference there between being natural. Like now I'm using my natural voice. I'm not using an actor's voice larger than life. And it's really, really important to ask yourself, do I come across as the real me every day in meetings and job interviews, when you're giving a lecture at the university, when you're being a student? Are you coming across as the real you? And so we're talking about authenticity. And then I want you to think a little bit about reputation. A personal brand looks at your reputation. What do people think of you? When you say goodbye to me today, I want you to go and ask 3 people that you know, how do I come across in the world? I've just listened to this woman, Maggie, Eyre, who's an expert in personal branding. How do you perceive my personal brand? And I don't want you to email them and ask them. I want you to get on the phone and ask them, how do I come across? And start getting some feedback. I did that exercise for the book all around the world, particularly in the UK and Europe, and got some interesting feedback. So there's authenticity. Now we're talking about reputation. With a personal brand, I want you to think about legacy. No, I don't mean when you die. I want you to think about, what do you want to leave behind when you leave this university? There's many universities on here today. What do you want to leave behind when one day you leave your country? What is it? So for me, when I left the public relations company, I wanted to leave behind a very strong message, which was, please always practice, practice, practice your speeches. Rehearse your business pitches. And I wanted to leave behind a lot of material, notes and notes and notes online. So be thinking about those three things: authenticity, reputation, and legacy. Particularly, I want you to think about, what stops me from being real? When am I not real? Now, usually people will say, what stops me is my lack of confidence. What stops me is my shyness. What stops me is fear of being judged. So I want you to think about 3 words now that describe you. So if you're asking my PA, she would say, Maggie is loyal, Maggie is energetic, Maggie is compassionate. I want you to think about those 3 words, and do you live those 3 words? For me, am I loyal during the day to my neighbours and my brother who lives next door? Yes, I make them coffee every morning during lockdown, no matter what. Am I compassionate? I'm compassionate toward my neighbours who are in lockdown. I want you to really start owning those 3 words, and then ask yourself, okay, so what are the 3 most important values in my life? What are they? Are they compassion? Are they loyalty? What are the 3 values that you want to live in your work? And at the foundation of your personal brand, that's what needs to come through all the time. So what do you believe in? What do you stand for? And is it there? So fairness means a lot to me. Fairness means a lot to me. I have Tongan and Samoan in my family. I don't tolerate racism. I don't tolerate sexism. Human justice means a lot to me. So it's really digging deep all the time, then thinking about, what is my story? What is my story? And am I telling it well? I tell my story about my childhood. Often I had no confidence in myself. I had a phobia of public speaking, and yet I was an actress, a professional actress on the stage, did television commercials. I didn't tell people how scared I was of public speaking. I was terrified. I pretended that I was very, very confident, which was inauthentic. So start really having a conversation with yourself about what is the real you, who is the real you, and what holds you back from expressing who you are. What I would like to do at this moment is just pause, and I would like to ask you all in your lounges, in your office, wherever you are. We won't do it standing up, we'll do the sitting down. I want you to raise your hands in the air, and it's a simple exercise. You'll have to, some of you will choose to unmute yourself. And all I'm going to say, looking at you, normally I'd be standing, is, hello, I am the letter X. I know it sounds odd, but I just lots of energy, and I want you to look at the camera and say, hello, I am the letter X. Away you go. Great. You're on mute, so I can't hear you. That doesn't matter. And now I want to say your name. So I'm going to go, hello, my name is Maggie. And I want you to give me your name with the letter X. Away you go. Hello. Okay, great. Najmah, can you unmute yourself, and can you give me your name with letter X energy, please?
Hello, my name is Najmah.
And can you do it with your arms up? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Najmah.
Great. Great. I was looking at the wrong square. Thank you. A sociologist many years ago taught me that if you stand looking in the mirror and you don't feel confident and you want to feel confident, stand and have a straight spine and look into the mirror and just say, hello, my name is. Simple little exercises like that can help you to sound confident, to look confident. I'm only doing that exercise today, so it's a constant reminder to you. What can I do before my speech? What can I do before my lecture to appear more confident? What I'd like to do, we've got 3 people now who have kindly come along with a 2-minute speech. What I'd like to do, so the session becomes more interactive today, and I'll talk some more about personal branding and confidence later, I would like to now coach those people, and Najmah will introduce them, bring them onto the screen. I'll take some notes, and I want you to be writing down what you see, but also asking yourself, am I engaged? Am I engaged listening to this person? And what are the memorable sentences? What are the memorable phrases? What are the memorable sound bites? What do you remember? I want you to look at their body language. Are they gesturing? And I want you to listen to their voice. Najmah, would you like to introduce me to the first person?
Okay, the first person will be Nyayu Septia. She is a MC during your first guest lecture in public health faculty, and she take public health field in Sriwijaya University. Nyayu Septia, are you with us now?
Yeah, Ibu Najmah, I'm here.
Okay, can you? The floor is yours, Nyayu.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity, Ibu, and nice to meet you again, Miss Maggie.
Wonderful to see you again. I'm so determined to get to your country and visit you all. I've been to Indonesia, but I would love to somehow, my dream is to be there and have face-to-face contact with all of you. That's my dream.
Okay, I hope it will become true. I'm going to start.
Over to you. And can you just tell us before you start, who is your audience? Who are you talking to? Are you talking to university students? Are you talking to a business audience? Is it public? Who is it?
My audience is students with the same age with me.
Great.
College students.
Thank you. Away you go.
One day, I realized that I'm not the same person like what I was before. I've changed. And of course, it's a better change. I'm asking myself, what is the beginning of this change? And the answer is pandemic. Last year came the pandemic, and the pandemic changed everything all over the world.
Of course.
Pandemic has never been easy for everyone. We all suffer in this situation. We start to work from home. We start working virtually. We all worry to go outside, meet the same people every single day. I don't talk to other people as frequent as before. And it gives me a space to talk more with myself. I talk more to myself. I ask more questions to myself, and I answer the questions by myself. I ask, why does it happen? Another side of mine wondered, maybe it happens because of these, and these. I ask, is there something wrong? Myself answered, perhaps this is the problem, and this is what you need to fix. The more questions I ask, the more answer I found. From those questions and answer in my mind, I could finally found myself. I know more about myself. I know what kind of person I am, what kind of situation that I hate, and what kind of person that I love the most. I know what I want exactly. And for the first time, I could understand my feeling better. This situation brought something I learned, that the things look bad sometimes isn't that bad. There's always something good we can see behind. And the thing is, sometimes we just don't realize it. Thank you.
Give her a clap. Well done. I really enjoyed that. I'm going to give you some feedback, but I'm also going to get some feedback from the audience as well. First of all, I really loved your voice because it was very warm. There was a good pace. You weren't speaking too fast. You weren't speaking too slow. But I particularly liked the fact that it was animated and you had highs and lows. You had variation of pitch. So you were not speaking in a monotone. You had a lot of passion in your voice, very, very energetic. I found myself really, really engaged. I liked the content and I kept on, because it's current, the pandemic, I really liked the way you kept on talking about the questions and the answers. You know, the more questions I ask, the more answers. When you said what's changed, it related to me. I started thinking about it. When you said we all suffer, I identified it. Yesterday I went out of my mind being in the home office all day and not exercising. It was really, I felt like, I don't know you, but I found it very real. I found you very real. I find you very, very authentic. And you come across as relaxed. You come across as confident, great eye contact. A lot of people on Zoom in a Zoom classroom, you know, look up or they look down, but you're looking at the camera the whole time. I want to get some feedback from other people. Were you engaged? You can just, I'll get Najmah to moderate, to facilitate this. Were you engaged? Yes or no? Why? I mean, I've just given you a little bit of feedback. I didn't want to say too much because I want to give you all an opportunity to talk about the messages, the body language, the voice. Over to you, Najmah, to facilitate the Q&A.
Okay, which one, if you feel engaged, you can give thumbs or clap in the Zoom, or you can comment on the Zoom chat. For me, is I'm engaged, and how that we can see Nyayu eye contact is a very important in Zoom meeting, because sometimes, like for myself too, that we read or we didn't memorize what we want to talk, and we tend to focus on other screens. So it's very nice that Nyayu can have eyes contact to others during this pandemic.
Yes, yes. And also I forgot, Najmah, I forgot to talk about the smile. You smile. And it's just really, so if you smile on Zoom or team meetings or in the classroom, if you smile, then I feel calm, I feel warm, I feel like I matter. Great. Thank you for that, Najmah. Anybody else want to talk?
Okay, the second one will be a senior high school student, Maggie from Jakarta, Dan Morgot. Karen, Eyre, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes,
welcome,
you can.
Welcome to you from your school in Jakarta.
Okay, floor is yours, Karen.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Karen Eyre, and I'm from Kabinet Harapan School, Dan Morgot. Being a senior high school student, I faced some challenges during this period of time. This pandemic brings us many negative effects to our life, but if we could see this in a positive point of view, we could see that this pandemic as a good sign where we can learn to know more about ourselves. Some people view this pandemic as something negative, but for me, personally, I view this whole pandemic as a brand new opportunity for me to be more equipped in the future as I get more certain of what I want to do in the future. During the pandemic, I learned more about myself since I had a lot of time to spare. I used that time to know more about myself. I experiment with things I like and don't like. At first, the situation was so frustrating until I reached the point where I could find a way to make this with myself. From here, I learned not to complain about bad situations. I understand exactly what I want to do in the future. Therefore, I feel more secure because I have planned it out. I can also run the days ahead with the plans I have made. Even if not all of them will work out, at least I know what I want to pursue. From this pandemic, I found my passion, and also I found what I want to do in the future. We cannot see only the bad things in every situation that we are in. There is always a good thing in every situation. This pandemic may give us many negative effects, but life must go on. We shall keep moving forward because better days will come. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Apologies, I thought you were giving feedback to the previous speaker, and then I realized you were giving the speech. So it just took me a while to... Let's just hear from the audience first. Who would like to give Karen some feedback? Were you engaged?
Yeah, anyone want to speak or just chat or comment?
The first one, my name is Maria Angela and I am from Denpasar. I want to tell a story since before pandemic. Before pandemic, long time ago, and before pandemic, my future when in the work, I already changed. Already thinking to changing the condition of the world, and everything happened in the world because of what people do. And for the works, if I have making something changing situation before something is better to the better condition with plan of go international because of in the fourth semester in my university of Moderator in undergraduate student stage, I have studied lesson of historic of modern thinking. When that is the study of the story value, the plot or story value of historical work since the Greek Empire and Greek, Roman, the Middle Age, in Renaissance, Industrial Revolution, United States Independence Day, French Revolution, Communism, World War, Communism until today. And if I already think, if I work in, because I'm before I lived in Jakarta, and in Jakarta itself, the lifestyle of people is very different from me. And the personal branding of Angel is already built since I'm in elementary school. When long time ago, I'm school in Pantara, SD Pantara. That is the ADHD school student or school only for autism. And then after that, when I going to the school and in the sekolah umum in Indonesia General School, I usually try to use a long skirt until around, and usually use a long sleeve shirt and a long skirt to build a personal branding since I was school.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Would you mind to comment on Karen's speech, please?
Yes.
Yes. Would you mind to comment on Karen's speech, like Maggie said? Give feedback or a positive feedback, what Karen said for the second delegate?
If my parents always give me the something personal branding was different because my parents built me to follow the best student behavior or murid teladan in this school.
Thank you, Maria. Yeah, thank you, Maria. Back to you, Maggie. Back to you.
Thank you,
Maria.
I'll just chip in here. So a little bit of confusion around the feedback. So what I want to ask Karen, well, I'm going to give some feedback first on the last two speeches. Karen, you're very much in the dark, so I couldn't critique your body language. I could hear your voice, but I can't see you. So what I want to say to all of you is never have a window behind you. If you're on Zoom and on any digital platform, if you've got light behind you, we will not see you. What you need to do is check that first, do a practice Zoom class with somebody So you get that right. So I struggled because I can't see you, so therefore I can't give you feedback there. Whereas the other two, I could see you clearly. What I want to ask, first of all, Karen, is were you reading your speech, yes or no?
I didn't read all of my speech. I only read the important part. Yeah.
So with the voice, now Najmah, have I got the correct pronunciation? Is it Nayu, our first speaker?
Yes, Nyayu.
Yeah, Nayu, good. Nayu wasn't reading. Is that correct, Nayu? Where is she? Can't find her on the screen. Anyway, she was not reading. So I was engaged. When you were giving your speech, Karen, and also the same with Maria, you were reading. So it's hard to engage with that. Maria, were you reading? Or did you learn it off by heart?
I think she is spontaneous, Maggie.
She's on mute. She's on mute. Okay. Maria, can you unmute, please? Thank you. No, can you unmute? Don't worry. Look, don't worry. It's very, very important. Oh, you're back with me, Maria. Great. Maria, were you reading? Were you reading? Yes? Yeah. So what I want you to do is not read. Only if you're going to read, you'll say, I'm just going to read for 30 seconds a paragraph from the book or whatever. So if you have 2 minutes of a speech and you want to engage people, and now you did it so successfully, I don't want the others to feel bad about this. You need to know what your 3 key messages are. Just think 3 key messages, no more. So in a speech, 3 key messages. And you were giving the introduction, right? So really use simple, everyday language, but find stories, paint pictures. We call it theatre of the mind. Take me somewhere where I haven't been before. Introduce me to somebody I haven't met before. Help me think about doing life a different way. And Nadia, when she gave her speech, it was memorable because the ending of the speech had a positive message. Throughout her speech, it was about asking herself questions, and it was about suffering, and then it was a positive message at the end. And also, Karen, I liked the fact that came through in yours, that there was, something positive in your content, and you've decided out of this pandemic what you want to do in your life. And I'm hearing that a lot with people. One of the decisions I've made out of the pandemic, and I can't believe I've made it, is I want to do more work with younger people, more work with students, and more work online on Zoom. I never thought I'd ever say that. I've decided I actually really I miss traveling, I miss being in other countries, so I want to do more of that. Would anyone, Najmah, I'll just hand it over to you. Najmah, is there anybody else who's going to make a speech?
Yes, Tia Elvia and Vira Terasha, are you with us?
Thank you. And
Tia,
I hope
are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear my question?
Yes, the floor is yours. And after that, Vira Triansha directly, so maybe you can comment on 2 directly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, time floors on yours now.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Tia Elvia. In this opportunity, I would like to share about what have I learned myself during this pandemic. These 3 actions really helped me to get a better version of myself. They will be kind, be critical, and be brave. Since I was a child, I enjoy trying something creative and imaginative, such as writing and sketching. This made me show up to the whole of myself. And to expand my hobby, I also joined journalist organization in college, and I was being a reporter. I was a hardworking person, so a part of being a reporter, I have tried some kind of freelance job such as editor and writer on several platforms. During this pandemic, I've faced many obstacles. For example, when I had to join the class, but the connection is bad. So I should move to a better place to get a better connection. But from that, I learned that I was growing. Several of my friends were rejected to enter university, and so many people lost their families because of COVID-19 cases. But here, I can survive. I can still see the smile of my parents, and I can continue my life full of happiness. Do you know what the key of that? It's just being grateful for what all we have. In my view, it is okay if we had obstacles. We know that life is not easy and it is not always what we want. So all that we can do is survive. If we can survive, it proves that we are growing. Because if we are not growing, we are sinking. As someone who just turned 20, I realized that life should be balanced. And I found my balance in life by being someone who can inspire people. So take the new opportunities, set the goals, and being an open-minded person will shape me into who I am today. So that's all from me. Thank you for your nice attention.
Thank you, Tria. Tria from English Department in Sriwijaya University. And next, Fira, nutritionist. Are you with us, Fira?
Okay, I'll just give some feedback there, okay?
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Tia Elvia,
Yeah.
is that correct?
Yes.
First of all, the eyes are the window of the soul. And so I'm told, so I believe. And your eyes were really alive, really alive. What I want you to do is you had the microphone covering your mouth, so I couldn't see your mouth. At the moment, everybody's wearing masks, and I'm trying to teach a lot of my clients, if it's safe, take your mask off on television when a journalist is interviewing you, as long as there's, you know, a lot of distance apart, or you're in your room or your office or whatever. But just bring the mic down to here. Can you just do that now so I can see you? Can you just hold it up there? Just bring your microphone up. Can you hear me? Just right, just there. Yeah, so lovely, because now I can actually, we want to see the eyes, and we want to see, you know, we've got 30 muscles in our cheeks. We want to see all of the face, yeah? I thought your voice was very, very spontaneous. You know, the key takeaway points for me that I was identifying with was, I can survive. And the other key message for me was, it's not always what you want it to be. I did not want a fourth lockdown. I didn't want it. It impacts on my business, but I've got it. So I know in life there are obstacles, and you talked about that. And I liked your positivity coming through, and I liked it when you talked about your parents. Would anybody else like to give Tia Olivia just some feedback? Were you engaged, and why?
Okay, anyone want to share their point of view about Tria's speech? It's 2 minutes.
One thing, sorry, Najmah, that I forgot to say to Tia, I liked the beginning where you said kind, critical, and brave. You had those three words. Yeah, great.
And I also love that she said that the smile of your parents is important.
Yes, the smile of your parents. That was a really memorable phrase for me. Smile of your parents, lovely. Okay. And I've been watching parents in the street looking grumpy, some smiling, some people on bicycles, some mothers and fathers looking really like, oh, I don't want to homeschool. I don't want to be out with the kids all day. I'm seeing all sorts of behavior going on faces, but that was really lovely. Yeah, and the background's uncluttered. You've got a beautiful face. You really shine. And can I ask you, because I don't know the answer to this, were you reading?
I read some notes on my laptop, but some notes.
Yeah, that's great, because the reason why is, the great thing is I didn't know if you're reading. And if I don't know you're reading, it means that you're making it spontaneous. You've got highs and lows in your voice, shades and color, and you're bringing life to it, just, you know, animation to it. So, so you're presenting in a more spontaneous way, because usually when we read, we speak in a monotone. but well done. Can I ask you a question, because I'm curious? How long did you spend on that, learning that or writing it?
I learning this speech on yesterday because yesterday my schedule is full because I have to enter the class. So I learn it's about 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I think.
Right. Well, it shows, and I'm asking you that because it shows that you have done a practice run. It shows that you've done a rehearsal. So what we want everyone to do is to come to the Zoom class or come to the lecture or come to your story, very present in telling your story. And well done, because I didn't know whether you were reading bits or not reading bits. So you were bringing your person. What we want to do is get you to bring your personality to your story. Bring the real, authentic you to your story. So keep on doing that. 2 hours on giving a 2-minute presentation is great. So Winston Churchill apparently used to spend 8 hours on something like 5 minutes, and his mother used to drill it into him. You've got to practice, you've got to practice. And that, you know, historical leader had a stutter. So the more you practice, the better. And even if it's just your opening, you know, I've got notes here and I've done preparation, but I'm not reading them. You know, I've gone through my notes beforehand. Well done. Anybody want to give any feedback? Don't be shy.
You can chat box or you type on the Zoom chat, or you can give applause or a thumb up sign in your Zoom.
Thank you.
Okay, Maggie, can we continue? So others,
yes, thank you.
Okay. Pira Transa, a nutritionist in Sriwijaya University. Times for you.
Hey, thank you, Ma'am Najmah. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Honorable Miss Maggie, Eyre, Ma'am Najmah, and all the participants. First of all, I would like to thank you for choosing me to share about what have I learned during this pandemic. Okay, the pandemic-19 has put a lot of strain on everyone. I think all of us struggling with online learning and missing offline class activities. But I try to see the bright side of the situation and to keep an optimistic view of the future. For me, one of the positive aspects of the situation is the extra free time I have. This is an opportunity to learn new skills, adopt new hobbies, and even a time to work on self-improvement. During my free time, I tried things I had never tried before. My friend and I joined volunteering on social project to teach children to learn basic English and health promotion during pandemic. We teach them how to wash their hand properly with singing a song. And I also storytelling, drawing, and playing game together. It is very fun. Sharing is caring. Sometimes we need to remember how important kindness is. And the pandemic likely won't end tomorrow. And for me, it is really important that we adapt our new lifestyle. And the most important thing I've learned as a result of pandemic is how to appreciate the little things in life and look at the bright side of things. And after the COVID-19 pandemic is over, I hope many of us will keep the new habits that we learned during pandemic and incorporate them into our everyday lives. Thank you.
Lovely. Congratulations. I felt very engaged for several reasons. You were very present. When you speak, you give a speech, you give a lecture, we need the speaker to be very present. And I loved the pace of it. You were gesturing. Gestures are really important. Your gestures were natural. You were spontaneous. I liked the story side of it when you talked about what you did in your free time. You know, mentioning In fact, Najmah, I think you posted it or someone did. There was a song with the washing of the hands. I saw, was that yours? I saw that there was a song on social media of washing of the hands, and I could see that picture in my mind. I could see that image when I was thinking about that. I liked the sharing about the poetry. Sharing is caring. That was a memorable phrase for me, a memorable soundbite. Sharing is caring. So what we want is everyday language, and we don't want jargon. And you didn't use any jargon. And my ears really pricked up again when you said kindness, a reminder to be kindness, because that is something that our Prime Minister always talks about. But I really, really enjoyed it. And you weren't reading it. Can I ask you, Vera, can I ask you, how long did you take to prepare this topic? What have I learned during the pandemic? How long did you spend on it?
It's only 1 month.
Did you say 1 hour?
Sorry, Miss, can you repeat your question?
How long did you take to prepare your speech? Did you take 5 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours? When you wrote it, how long did you take to write it?
I prepared my speech about last night.
Great. And how long did you spend on it? 1 minute, 10 minutes, half an hour? How long approximately?
I learned it about at 8 p.m. until 10 p.m.
Fantastic. Again, here's an example of real preparation. It's really focusing on your key messages. So what we want people to be memorable. And when you talked about your grandmother and the poetry and to learn basic English, I became interested because you were talking about something in your life. You were humanizing your speech, something that's real. And if you are giving speeches, I can't emphasize enough, it's important to share something about you. So well done. I'd like to open it to the floor. Would anybody like to give any feedback? Najmah, you might like to give some feedback. Were you engaged and why?
Me? First of all,
thank you. Thank you, Maria. Maria, thank you.
I'm sorry. Today I'm already have mistake to talking. Already have wrong to talk. So I want to fix my talk today. If in pandemic,
the question of Maggie.
I already thinking if
Maria,
in pandemic, if we change lifestyle, yeah.
Maggie question is, do you want to give feedback on the previous speakers like Vera? Do you want to give feedback? Is it good, or is it what the sentences that you remember from the previous speakers like from Vera? So give feedback, memberikan masukan untuk speaker sebelumnya.
Ya, memberi masukan untuk Vera. Kalau misalnya untuk pandemik, saya akan memberikan masukan kalau misal di mana ada, kalau misalnya saya pelajari dari sebelum pandemi itu ada beberapa orang-orang pedalaman atau orang-orang daerah di mana belum kena COVID sama sekali atau komunitas terisolasi. Kalau dari komunitas terisolasi itu kalau misalnya kondisi pandemi ini gaya hidup mereka itu sudah bagus, sudah baik. Jangan sampai mereka salah satu di antara anggotanya itu ada kena COVID-19. Atau kalau misalnya dari zaman sebelum pandemi, komunitas orang-orang di seluruh dunia ada satu orang itu sudah memelopori untuk mengubah gaya hidup mereka, di mana dari kebiasaan berkerumunan banyak orang, kehidupan modern kota besar, lalu lalang, beduh, dan sampai tersebar salah satu virus di mana menyebabkan penyakit yang sudah di dunia itu sudah diwaspadai.
No, I just stop you there. Najmah, can you?
Thank you, Maria.
Sorry, Maria.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Maria.
So
Najmah, can you could you translate some of that, please? I'm sorry.
Yes. Maria just Maria asked to adapt it the new habit, like before and after pandemic, everything changed. So if we think about our family, about our friends, so to protect our parents or your family, it's better like to adapt, like use mask, avoid the crowd, and other things to do prevention. Okay, Maggie, can we challenge others that who want to talk?
Do we have somebody who's got a prepared 2-minute speech?
Yes, we have, and other people, if we want to try, and if we still have time, we can challenge you to talk 2 minutes. So anyone who want to share their story, they can raise their hand in this within 5 minutes. And while we'll ask the last one from the list before we challenge other audience. Okay, Linia, are you with us? Linia, are you with us? Okay. Okay, other participants, do you want to try to tell us yourself, to talk about you or about your experience within 2 minutes? You can jump or raise your hand. Anyone want to try? You just raise your hand or you just jump on the screen?
What we might do, Najmah, if there's nobody who'd like to have another go, why don't we open the floor to questions so people can ask questions about personal branding, about confidence, about why is it so important, why are your presentation skills so important to your personal brand? Are there any questions that anybody would like to ask, you know, that are coming up right now for them? There's no such thing as a dumb question. Every question is great.
Okay. Anyone audience want to ask Maggie Eyre directly? You can raise your hand and you just open your mic, or you can chat on the Zoom chat. Anyone want to ask question? Okay.
And Najmah, if anybody types a question through, so
yes,
I don't have to go right up, I'll get you to read it out. That would be excellent.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You can type on the Zoom, or you can directly join with us in the chatting. Anyone question?
First of all, Maria, thank you for speaking in your own language. Thank you. You sounded confident. I'm sorry I didn't understand, but you sounded really confident. So thank you.
Okay. Anyone want to ask?
Najmah, you're allowed to ask questions if you want to, even though you're facilitating. So feel free to jump in as well.
Okay. It's interesting, like when you said that, how do you come across with authenticity, legacy, and also the reputation? So it's interesting how we build up with that and how we try to create our personal brand. Based on your experience being a student like our young audience today, how to start with that? Because you know that there are a lot of influences from Korea style in Indonesia and others role models from the artists, but sometimes they are not confident with their own personal
Exactly.
brand.
And there's so much pressure these days with social media. There's so much pressure with, we all want to be liked, we all want to be loved, we all want to look good. And it's really tough because often we're afraid to be ourselves. When I was young in my 20s and 30s, I was too scared to be myself when I worked in business because my self-esteem was not high enough. And then after really working on my self-confidence, I started to ask myself, what are my values and what do I believe in? And I think it's really, really important to just have self-awareness, to ask yourself, who am I? What do I stand for in the world? Who am I? I'm somebody who is very against bullying. I won't tolerate people bullying, particularly, you know, I've got 9 nieces and nephews and I care about them. So it's really important to actually know who you are and then ask yourself, how do I want to be perceived? And I think one of the best ways of becoming confident is to tell your story and stand up in front of an audience or be on Zoom in front of an audience and keep on speaking and telling your story. And just keep it small, like keep it, we have a motto at Fresh Eyre. The name of our company is Fresh Eyre, E-Y-R-E, not A-I-R. We have a motto, less is better. Yeah, so you don't want too much material. You want just a really, really simple outline, a beginning, a middle, and an end. But if you want to become confident, get your phone, get somebody, put it on a tripod, get somebody to film you and video you. I mean, remember at AUT, Najmah, remember the work that we did together? Would you like to tell the audience a little bit about that and why your confidence increased? Can you tell them a little bit about what we did? Because I think that would be useful.
Okay, thank you very much. It's interesting because Maggie is my coach during my 3 minutes presentation for my doctorate. So I joined the competition and I become the finalist in my university. So at that time, you know that I have a baby on my hand, but Maggie come to the parents' room in library and bring camera and bring everything like videographer. So it's like a television in that room. And she recorded and she just ignore my son voices because it's crying and everything. And Maggie teach me to see myself on the camera because sometimes audience, my students and others participants, we just talk on the mirror or we just talk on the wall. That's the interesting thing when we try to practice our speech. But what Maggie taught me that she provide the camera and after she recorded and I see my own face and then record it again. And one point that she told me, please practice more than 100 people before you join your final competition. So everybody that I met on the bus, on my boarding rooms, apartment, I keep practicing, including the kids, because you know that the kids in New Zealand, although they are Indonesian, their English is much more better than us. Their kids are, auntie, the speech is not like that. The pronouns is like this. So it's interesting. You learn to many people. Sometimes, Maggie, we are so confident with our English, but other people don't understand our pronunciation. So it's nice. You practice your pronunciation because it's not our first language. For us, my language is the first is Palembang language, second Indonesian, and the third is English. So we need to practice, and practice makes perfect. That's it.
It's wonderful, and I can remember baby being there and the baby toys being there. It was fantastic. It was memorable, and I think I did some voice exercises with you, didn't I? Didn't I do the? It's called the trill. Didn't I do the diction exercises? Unique New York, unique New York. Around the rugged rocks, the rascal ran. She sold seashells on the seashore. I did some of those exercises with you, didn't I?
Yes. Interestingly, Maggie teach us how to like this or just scream
called the
and
trill.
Just exercise. And before my competition, like 5 minutes before our competition, such as we are feel cold, something like that. So I went out from my room and I did what Maggie asked me to do exercise, and my friend helped me. So it release our stressful when you join the competition.
Yes, I think I did. I'll stand up. I'm in my lounge. I think I taught you. Can you all see me? This one, cross crawling, right to left, left to right. I think I did that. So what this is doing is integrating the left meridian of the brain with the right meridian of the brain, and shaking your hands, and just movement, any kind of movement before you speak. And it's just like just massaging your face, screwing your face up ugly like a prune, opening wide. Actors do those kinds of exercises, but I do remember you having baby there, and it doesn't matter where you are, but it's always important to do the warm-up. And if some of you do go into Kindle, all of the exercises in here in Speakeasy, about the warm-up and the voice and everything, you can definitely, it's like written as a very simple manual in a way. But speaking with ease, if you practice, and I don't mean just practice, have perfect practice, in other words, film it, get somebody to record it, to video it, and get an audience in front of you. Don't rehearse in front of the dog. I've got a client who used to rehearse in front of the dog. The dog has no idea what you're saying, you know. And I mean, I used to say to this client, why do you rehearse in front of the dog? Well, she lived alone. But, you know, get real humans to rehearse in front of and say to people, were you engaged? And we want, what we don't want, and I'll stand up again, we don't want crossed body language. So let's talk about those. We don't want crossed arms. We don't want hands behind the back. We don't want fiddling all the time. We don't want, you know, playing with your hair. We don't want, this is called the fig leaf, you've got nothing to hide. We want the hands up here. Why do we want the hands up here? You breathe more correctly if you're standing and you're not shallow breathing. If shallow breathing's up here where you're breathing, almost you start to hyperventilate, we want to use the whole diaphragm. And in Speakeasy, I talk about that. And you can't see my feet, but have feet parallel to your shoulders. You don't want to cross your legs. You know, you want to have openness, so open body language. Smiling is really important. You don't want a fake smile, a snake smile is like that. That's horrible. But a warm smile like Najmah, you've got a lovely warm smile now. You know, you want people to like you. Look, it's not about impressing the audience. Don't worry about that. In fact, you don't even need the audience to like you. You want the audience to respect you. But it's not about you impressing. It's about you connecting. It's about you connecting with an audience, connecting and building that rapport. And also just knowing, where do I want my messages to land? How do I want to give some tips? What do I want the audience to go away with? Do I want to, like I know at the end of this, I want you to remember that practice is important, rehearsing is important. I want you, so what are you wanting your audience to remember? And we're looking for those memorable sound bites. So the speaker, our lovely speaker, sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Viva, you know, I can remember that. Any questions around body language? Any questions around the voice? Any questions about storytelling? Any questions about your personal brand and how you want to present yourself to the world?
Maggie, we have two questions
Yes.
for now. From Ayu Rafia from Sriwijaya University. I want to ask, what's your opinion about someone who cannot confidence because the comments from her or his family, especially from their parents, that thank you and sorry for the bad English, something like that. So how to respond negative perspective from others? It's from Ayu. And the second question is from
Can I just go back to the first question, because I think I misunderstood. So can you go through that again? Somebody is giving feedback, and it's negative feedback? Is that what it is?
So I want to ask, what's your opinion about someone who cannot confidence because the comments from other people, especially from your parents or your family? So
got it. Look, my father used to say to me, "You're not an actress. You're not an actress." And I really wanted to be an actress. In New York, our voice teacher said, "Oh, your voice is terrible, Maggie. It's terrible. That Kiwi accent is so horrible. You'll never be an actress." And I just I was shriveling inside. I had no self-confidence. And then I realized that's just people's opinion. And there's a lovely phrase, "It is none of my business what anyone thinks, says, or does. It is none of my business what anyone thinks, says, or does." So you have to feel good about you. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "Nobody can make you feel inferior without your own consent." So it's very hard to, I mean, my darling mother, I loved her. She died with me when she was 94. I miss her every day. And she used to say, "Margaret, you're so vain. You're always putting on lipstick and you're always dressing up. You're so vain." And I used to say, "Mama, you're right. I am. I'm so vain." Like, she wasn't really judging me, but she was saying, do you always have to wear makeup when you go out, you know? And I just kept on doing it, wearing makeup. But confidence is about you believing in you. Confidence is about looking at your beliefs. What are the conversations that you have about you? So we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. What am I saying about myself? You know, am I saying I'm confident? I'm ready to give this speech. I'm excited. You know, what are you saying to you? What is your negative self-talk? And I'm not necessarily talking about affirmations where you say to yourself, I am happy, you know, I am relaxed. Our parents will say things that you might choose to believe. You know, my father wasn't interested. He never came to the theatre and saw me once on the stage. That was his decision. I didn't make him wrong for that. I didn't blame him for that. But we have to be self-compassionate toward ourselves. We have to like ourselves. We have to respect ourselves. We can't expect others to always make us feel good. It comes back to you believing in yourself and believing in your abilities. I know I'm a good teacher. I know when I'm in a classroom with university students, and gosh, I miss it. And I spent 8 years at AUT University teaching. I missed being in the classroom. I know I'm good at what I do. I know I'm not good on computers. I know that I'm not great with admin. I get help. I pay people to do all those things. You know, I know I'm a good writer. I write books. But start acknowledging you, start being kind to you, start being self-compassionate. Our parents will have opinions. You know, my brother gave that very good feedback about you were very, very good on that TV show because you were natural, you were conversational, you were real. The other times you were larger than life and acting like you're on the stage. Is that answering that person's question? Yeah?
Yes. Yes, Maggie. Thank you very much. Ayu, do you want to respond on Maggie one? For Octave, Lorenza Purba, and Angela, do you want to jump to the Maggie directly to share your questions? And Resti, Nabila? Okay, there is other 2 questions, Maggie, from the audience. I think later you want to share how to be your tips and tricks to a small exercise like you share in the first public guest lecture at Eyre University. This is from Okta Purba. I want to ask you how the practice I do for change my face, like when I say happily story, or my face will be happy, or when it's sad, it will be sad. Sometimes it's very hard, you know, that when we speak based on our heart and to show on our face.
Oh, lovely story. I mean, lovely question. I really like that. Well, first of all, you've got to feel it inside. You've got to really feel it. So if I say to you, I love being here today, I love my clients, even if you can take away one tip, one gem that will help your life, I'll feel like today I've done my job. I mean that. That's from the bottom of my heart. I'm not just making that up. I'm not saying those words. And hopefully you'll see that in my face. So it's important that when you talk, you do connect with your emotions. You do connect with your feelings. You allow yourself to be vulnerable. A lot of people at the moment on television, I watch the news every night, are vulnerable because we've just had floods and we're in a lockdown, and a whole lot of people just lost their homes, and they've got no homes right now out in West Auckland. And there were people on television just, you know, upset, so upset. And, you know, you wouldn't expect them to smile. They were being very, very real. I think we have to give ourselves permission to be authentic. We have to give ourselves permission to just be us. That's why the publisher called this Being You, because it's uncomfortable being ourselves sometimes. You know, yesterday I was down. I said to my PA, I don't want any more lockdown. I can't stand this, Stephanie. And she helped me. She pulled me out of the dark hole and she said, Maggie, it's okay. I said, oh, I've got cabin fever. So today she sorted me out and I had a meeting with her, walking in the fresh air, walking, talking, and feeling good about myself because my PA managed me carefully. And yesterday, here I am telling the PA, I'm sad, you know. I'm eating a lot of food and I'm on Zoom all the time and I can't do another 3-4 weeks or whatever. And I live alone. I'm talking to myself, you know, even though my brother lives next door. I think we need to give ourselves permission to be real. And that takes courage. It takes a lot of bravery. Does that answer the question?
Yes, Maggie. Maggie, before we answer other question, would you mind to challenge others to follow your face exercise like you teach to me, how to be sad, how to happy, how to and so, others audience, please follow what Maggie do. You can open your video so the community will take the pictures.
Good. This is good, and it's a simple exercise. So we're going to have a the sentence will be this is a pandemic. And I want to see everybody, we're going to say it with, this is a pandemic. We're going to say it with joy. This is an exercise I do in some of my classrooms. We're going to say it with joy. Then we're going to say it like we're really upset. Then we're going to say it with anger. Okay, this is a pandemic. And this would be an exercise that lots of actors would do. In other words, we've got a choice about bringing an attitude to a sentence. So it's like an actor's exercise. I need to see everybody on the screen, please. Oh, there's beautiful child. That's your child.
Yes.
Is that,
it's the baby. Yeah,
oh my gosh, one. That's baby. It was at AUT.
Yes, it's the baby one.
Hello, baby.
Yeah. The committee would you want to mute all the participants so we can make a noise now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna say this is a pandemic. Yes. So already.
Okay, can you mute all participants? Would you mind to help us to mute your voices, please? Okay. Some people do the mute. The committee, would you mind to unmute all the participants, please? Yes. Unmute. Okay. Okay, and you can open your camera.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm unmuted. Great. So I'm going to say this is a pandemic with joy. Yay! This is a pandemic. So I want you now to do what I just did. With letter X, go. This is a pandemic. So look excited. Do it. Some of you look a bit sad.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. This is a
pandemic.
Yay!
Pandemic. One more time. Okay. One more time.
And now we're going to say it like we're really upset. Oh, that's good. Thank you. I love it.
This is a pandemic.
This is a pandemic.
I'm really sad. Really sad.
Okay.
This is a pandemic. Everybody?
Okay, it's a bit sad. It's a bit sad. So it is a pandemic. Okay, 1, 2, 3. It's a pandemic.
It's a pandemic.
Good. And now we're going to say it with absolute anger. So mine might be, oh, this is a pandemic. Away you go.
1, 2, 3.
This is a pandemic.
And now last one, we're just going to say it with absolute kindness and peace. And I might choose to say something like, This is a pandemic. Okay, away you go. One,
Two, three.
three.
This
This is
This
a
is a pandemic.
pandemic.
Yes, a pandemic.
Right. So I'm really glad, Najmah, you got me to do this exercise because I can hear some lovely music.
Okay, the committee mute all now.
Right, well done, team. Look, we have a choice. We have a sentence, and it's a really good exercise. Najmah, can you remind me to send you, if I haven't sent you before, like a sheet on presentation skill tips? So I know that you can, and I don't know, Najmah, is this in the library at some of the universities? I mean, in your university?
Yes, friends, we can buy it online. So it's around 50,000 rupiah. So on Shopee or Tokopedia, I just bought it last month. So it's very interesting if you want to practice your personal and other things.
A lot of exercises in there, and the same with Being You. And if anybody wants a book, you just need to go onto my website and I'll post you one and sign it and write you a little note. With lockdown, it will take a little bit longer, of course. But the thing is, you have got a choice about how you present. And people mostly want to see that you are warm, that you are kind, that you care about the audience. And I want you to start collecting stories, but also you've got amazing stories about how you have got through this pandemic. So I've got a lot of friends in France, England, Sweden. I've got friends who have caught COVID and been very, very sick, but they've got through it. So I tell my stories about my friends who've had COVID. So we've all got stories about the pandemic. The more you start sharing your real stories, the better. Never worry about having English as a second language. I love working with my clients who have English as a second language. Why? Because there's no technical jargon. There's no $15 words. I'll explain what I mean by that. There's $5 words. So $5 words are smile, dance, laugh. $15 words are infrastructure, digital platform, you know. So it's really getting everyday language is so, so important. Are there any other questions? I think there was one more question. Is that right?
Yes, there are some questions. Maggie, three more questions. Do you still have time to answer it?
Absolutely. I'm not going anywhere. I'm in lockdown.
Okay.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm in love with all of you already.
Okay. My name is Angela. I'm a student undergraduate Diploma of Economics in Sriwijaya University. I have a question, Maggie. What personal branding pitfall, if any, should I be aware of? Thank you.
Wow, I like that question. I hope I've understood that. Look, somebody in the world who has a very strong personal brand is Jacinda Ardern, our Prime Minister. On the global stage, she has a strong profile. On the New Zealand stage, she has a strong profile. I've never heard in my lifetime any Prime Minister talk about kindness. I've never heard it. I was flying from Wellington to Auckland. I'm in the airport lounge having my lunch. She's got baby Neve under her arm, getting the child some food. And then the child's calling out, "Mommy, Mommy." And there's our Prime Minister. And I'm going, this would never happen anywhere in the world. Her security men are sort of, you know, running after her. But she's just with the baby, talking to the child, talking to her mother. She's very natural. She's very herself. Her values show up every day when she's giving the update on television about the COVID numbers. She's very down to earth. I think she has a strong brand. I want you to start looking at people in your country, around the world, who has a strong brand. I mean, there's people like, Oprah Winfrey's got a strong brand. There'll be There'll be actors that are older, like Jane Fonda, who care about humanitarian issues. Our former Prime Minister, Helen Clark, who I used to work with, she has a very strong brand. At the moment, she cares about what's happening, particularly to girls and women in Afghanistan. And she makes a point of talking about it on the radio, of television, of what's happening with the Taliban at the moment with Afghanistan. She has a very strong brand and she is non-judgmental. So start looking at people that you admire who stand out. There are people who are no longer with us. Nelson Mandela had a strong brand. My mother had a strong brand because she never worried about what people thought of her. She was very kind. She never judged anybody. She loved everybody. It didn't matter what their sexuality was. It didn't matter didn't matter whether they were rich or poor. Whether they put the rubbish out for a living or they were the chief executive, she accepted everybody for who they were. So start looking for people in your own universities and your own schools. Look to leaders. So I talked about Helen Clark because I was one of her media advisors, and I just got to respect her so much because of her personal values and her professional values, and she cared about fairness. Start to really, in the book here, I talk about a friend of mine who is in New York called Sharon Isbin, and she's a classical guitarist. I talk about her personal brands. I talk about Ed Sheeran with the ginger hair, with the red hair, because I like his singing. I talk about his personal brand. And, you might have rock stars or pop singers, or it doesn't matter who they are, but start looking at who you respect. And you might say to yourself, gosh, I identify with that person. They have skills and they have values that I want to have. Start looking also at how do you want to show up in the world? What is missing? How do you want to be? Like, I've decided I want to speak to more millennials, younger people. Most of my clients are corporates and they pay me lots of money. They pay me well, but I want to speak to younger people because I believe I have wisdom to pass on to younger people, and many of you are in the room today. That was a little bit of a ramble and I went off on a path, but Najmah, any
Maggie, I think three participants want to interact with you directly, whether it's to be the challenge or you want to ask questions. So
Good.
I asked Fizati Nara from UNJ, and the second one, Sharif Muhtar, and the third one is Sahla. I think I start from Fizati Nara from Java Island. Is that correct? Okay, Fizati, floor's on yours.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Fizati Nara. I'm from State University of Jakarta. I'm a bit nervous actually. I would like to ask you a question. This is a very basic question, but I would really like to get answer from the master, Mrs. Maggie Eyre. So here's my question. How to draw people's attention when you are presenting live in live? So it's not in Zoom or conference like this. It's on live. How to draw people's attention to you?
I really love that question. First of all, I want to acknowledge you because you don't look nervous and you don't sound nervous. And that's because you are smiling. So a little tip there. If you're nervous and you're dying inside, if you smile, guess what? Nobody even knows that you're dying inside. So how do you stand out? And we talk a lot about people with charisma and people having that kind of light. First of all, I ironed my blouse today because I thought, the color will stand out. It's nice and bright and I want to stand out on the screen. I've got my red hair, my ginger hair. Color is really important. So your clothing's important. If you want to stand out, wear a color that stands out. I wear a lot of black and white, but it doesn't really stand out on the screen. And I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I love black and white, and you happen to be wearing black and white today, which I love. So wear color that stands out. And also show your personality. I'm very playful. A lot of my friends are in their 20s. They're younger than me. And I think it's because I love to play and I love to have fun. And I just really like talking with and listening to younger people. Show the real you. I used to wear all these corporate clothes, navy, black, brown, you know, hair tied back. Wouldn't wear dangly earrings, little pearl studs or diamond studs. I thought I had to look very businesslike. And then my boss said to me one day, when are you going to start being more flamboyant? You come from the theatre. So I started wearing yellow to work, orange to work, being myself. I think it's just about being you. 3 of my brothers are very shy. 1 is an extrovert. I was an extrovert as a child. I'm the kind of person who I go for coffee every morning when it's not locked down, and I'll start talking to strangers in the street. I start talking to the little baby or the child. That's just who I am. I love engaging with people. If there's a little child, I, you know, will engage with them. I know that's hard to maybe apply that to your question, but it's really about being you, but also it's about being warm. So if you're warm and you're friendly, like I'm being now because I'm genuinely excited to be here, people will see that. People will listen to your voice. People will look at the person in the street who's smiling. Whereas if you're like this, you know, people might think you're arrogant, rude, you don't care. It's really about you creating a presence. And we run programs called Creating Presence. It's about you knowing what people notice. They notice clothing. They notice detail like your hair. They notice detail like your shoes. And it's really looking your best, you know, or dressing in your favorite clothing. You all look beautiful on the screen. I can see you, and I can see purple, and I can see colors. And does that answer your question? I'll get you to unmute yourself. You can answer.
Yes, thank you very much for the answer. I really excited to be here as well. And I would like to follow your social media.
Yes, please follow the social media, because at the moment I'm making lots of videos. I put one out yesterday, and it was just about helping people who've never spoken to the media before and what should they do. At the moment, every night on television, I love it. There'll be a butcher or a woman who runs a bookshop, and they're all talking about how they're surviving with their shops all closed. So every second day, I'm going to post a video next week and the week after to help people talk to the media for the first time. LinkedIn and Facebook, and I'm a bit lazy on Instagram, but I will get better at it. But please follow me on social media, because I give away lots of tips. And Najmah, we have a landing page. I think you've got that with all the links. Is that right?
Yes. We will share again after this.
You can share it, and also like engage with me. Say to me, I was in your Zoom class, you know, the other day on Friday, and talk to me, because I am a bit of a teenager when it comes to social media, particularly on Facebook story. I always put something out every couple of days, like I put this out today. But you know, there's a way you can become part of the Fresh Air family. And the Māori word for family is whānau, so you can become part of the Fresh Air whānau. And don't be shy with me. I'm just a down-to-earth person. You know, yes, I've got a celebrity status in some countries, in some cities, with my countries, my books selling in 7 countries. But I'm just a down-to-earth woman who wants to make a difference in the world. I really want to help and support you in any way to feel more confident.
Yes, thank you very much, Miss Maggie. Thank you very much.
Thank
you
you.
very much, Fizati. And the second one, finally, there is a man. Maggie want to ask question. Sharif Muhtar, are you ready for your question, or you want to have Kabinet challenge? Please, time for you.
Yeah.
And can I get your pronunciation? It's S-Y-A...
R-I-F, Sharif.
Sharif, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Sharif. Sharif, you've got a lovely presence on the screen. I've been watching you listening, and I've been watching you smiling, and that's exactly what we're talking about, you know, going back to the last question, like you have a presence on the screen. So I'd love you to ask a question.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. That's Najmah. I'm sorry, Miss Maggie, my English not better, but I will try. My question about what is the tips and trick to be
Bu, absennya Bu. Saya kirim ke WA.
Public speaker. But before that, I want to tell a short my experience. I was very nervous to be speaking in the public, but I want to know to be great public speaker. Thank you very much, Mrs. Maggie.
I missed the first bit. Was it right at the beginning? Was there a question? There was talking in the background. Was there a question? I got your last bit. Was there a question in the first bit?
The question, what is the tips and trick to be best public speaker?
Okay, great. Look, I've trained people for TED Talks who've never been in a TED Talk in their lives. And at AUT University, Auckland University of Technology, I worked with the Ph.D. students and the doctoral students, helping them to prepare a TED Talk. They were terrified. They were absolutely terrified. And so I would coach them and spend time with them, and they would spend hours and hours on their 10-minute speech. The key to this is practice, practice, practice. Now, it might be that your brother is having a 10th birthday, or your cousin is having a 21st birthday, and you're all on Zoom. And you can volunteer, say, I would like to make a 2-minute speech. I would like to make a 1-minute speech to acknowledge that person. Find opportunities for you to talk, whether it's on Zoom or you're out in the world at the university. Grasp those opportunities. Carpe diem, seize the day, seize the moment. The more you do it, the less you are scared. And guess what? Experts are scared. You know, I give speeches all the time. I just got my first standing ovation as a middle-aged woman in front of 150 young people in Wellington last month. And I felt so humbled. And I was nervous before that speech. Like, a lot of experts don't tell you that they are nervous. I've mastered the art of public speaking because I've been doing it for years and years and years. You know, I'm confident when I'm speaking to media, but I still get nervous. You know, it matters to me that you get something out of it today. So before, when I was going through all my notes, which I haven't referred to, I hope they get something out of this. It's normal and natural to feel scared. You're doing what I want you all to do right now. I'm nervous, but I'm speaking because we're so scared of letting others down. But you know what? The audience are not judging you. We think that the audience are judging us. The audience like you, they respect you. We think that the audience don't like us. We make up a story. Oh, well, they're not smiling, so they're not getting anything out of this. Whereas they're just focusing. They're just listening. I prefer seeing you all on the screen because I feel like I'm really present with you in the room, yeah? Does that answer? I mean, I love what you've said. Keep on finding opportunities to speak. Can I ask you a question, Saraf?
Sharif.
Sharaf, can I ask you a question? Okay. What is it? Oh, someone's got a lovely pussycat. I was distracted by the cat. What is it that you are afraid of, Saraf, when you speak in public, whether it be in the Zoom classroom? What is it that you're scared of? Can you tell us?
I will in the Zoom classroom. but I will try to speak in the lecture, but in the other friends, but to spend to try, I will to be confident, Mrs. Maggie.
Yeah, and confidence comes with doing it. You know, I remember learning to rollerblade. I don't rollerblade now. I'd be too scared of an injury. But I remember learning the steps of how to rollerblade. It's like when you're 5, you learn to ride a bike. The more you do it, the more confident you are. You know, I went to the Himalayas many years ago on a trek, and I was so scared. Oh, what if I get altitude sickness? What if the Sherpas have to carry me? What if everybody laughs at me because I can't make it high up there? You know, like the more we do something, the more we master it. And it's important to say to yourself, I'm scared. It's important to say, I'm really nervous. You know, I've got a big job coming up on not Zoom, it is going to be Zoom now. It's team meetings or Zoom, and it's across, you know, China in 2 weeks, Cape Town, Australia, and 3 other countries. I'm not scared of teaching those 8 people, but what I'm nervous about always is, will the technology work? Now, that's the only fear I have. What if something goes wrong? I had a live interview on LinkedIn. Guess what? It's never happened before. The internet went down 3 times. I felt silly, but I just carried on and said, well, this is real life. We're in a lockdown too. The internet's gone down 3 times. I think we try to be perfect, and I think we try to be polished. And what we want is just to be ourselves. You don't have to be polished, and you don't have to be perfect. We just want you to be warm, natural, confident, tell your story, tell your real story, and know that you've actually rehearsed it. And a big part of this is getting the brief beforehand. You know, just knowing, like, I knew what your title was. I knew who was moderating. I knew it was, you know, Najmah. I knew what you wanted to get out of it. So it's always getting the brief first. What am I meant to be talking about? Sarah, please read Speakeasy. I promise you, you will read it, and then you will, and you can get, you know, I've got the Indonesian copy sitting on my desk, actually. You know, you can get this, but it's an older version, whereas, you know, this is the latest version. And yes, it's in Indonesian, but you know, I'd love you to get this. We've got to get this translated into your language. I don't know how to do that, but I'd love to do that. Najmah, you might be able to help me.
Okay. Thank you very much, Maggie. There's a lot of questions, and students raise their hands. What I want to share to audience that you can share what you learned today, or you want to share your speech, and you can tag in our Instagram, Maggie Eyre, FKM Unsri as the committee today, and my Instagram, and we can share each other and we can keep in touch. And I would like also to show you the Maggie social media. So you this is the Maggie Eyre Facebook. So you can stalking now. You can add her, and also Maggie has what's Instagram? Instagram. Sorry, I'll try to. And also Instagram, you can follow them, and also you can follow the Maggie Instagram. This is the Maggie one. So you can follow the Maggie Eyre, and Maggie also have a lot of YouTube speaking and public speaking. So you can learn a lot from Maggie. Maybe Maggie, before we close this event and come back to MC, would you mind to share 3 face techniques that you share to us? So the audience will learn and practice, and maybe they will challenge themselves to do 2 minutes with the happy face or the sad face. So like you teach us or some words that tweak, twack, tweak, twack.
Okay, and also I just want to also, in this book, I just want to also read a little sentence that says, which I like. It's by a woman called Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who was a counselor. And she said, you are the only person who can turn that light on. And in flicking the switch, you become a brighter personal brand that will inspire your family, friends, and followers. She talks about, so she just said, you are the only person who can turn that light on. And flicking the switch, I'm saying you'll become a lighter and brighter personal brand. The summary of all of this is to really be yourself, to really be yourself. And number second is to practice your story, practice your speech all the time, but practice in front of people, not just in front of the mirror. And number third is to ask yourself, what do I believe in? What am I too scared to share? What am I too scared to share? Like I was too scared to tell people that I had a phobia about public speaking because I thought, I can't talk about that. They see me as an expert traveling around the world speaking on the world stage. But I started being more authentic and telling people I didn't like doing it. It made me nervous. My hands were clammy. I was sweating. My heart was going like this. So start asking yourself, what is it that I can share about my life that will touch, move, and inspire other people? Your job is to always touch, move, and inspire an audience, and you can do that. Every one of you can one day give a TED talk. Every one of you can give a beautiful, moving speech on Zoom that will touch, move, and inspire people. You just have to decide whether you're going to turn that switch on and shine or not.
Thank you very much, Maggie, for the great conclusion from this international webinar. Would you mind to give applause to Maggie, please, to all audience? It's very kindness for Maggie to come to us, and it's free, and she provides a lot of kindness for us to practice. I believe that for me that I cannot do a public speaking to join the AUT finalists for the competition, but Maggie were very kind to practice me with the baby at that time, and I come to the final at that time. And you can search my name, Najmah Usman, 3 minutes AUT competition. So it's Maggie behind me. Is Maggie how I express my voice, my sadness. Maggie, thank you very much. And for all audience, please tag what you learned today through Instagram story and start to use social media to share your own expertise and to share your personal brand. Remember, nowadays many company, institution find someone and they will stalking on your social media. Please use your social media to share your good thing. Okay, Maggie, thank you very much for your kindness today. And
thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, bye, Maggie.
Bye. Bye. Thank you so much.
Okay. I'll back to Nabila. And okay, Nabila, it's time for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for Mrs. Najmah and Mrs. Maggie. Now to the next agenda, which is the documentation session. To all of the participants, please turn on your camera for this documentation or photo session. All right. Last but not least is the end of this event, which is the closing ceremony. But before that, we would like to challenge all of the participants to give their feedbacks about the webinar by posting an Instagram snap story and tag the following list on the Zoom chat box written below. Thank you very much to all of the participants and guests around the world for attending this delightful webinar today. We hope that the knowledge, information, and the motivation that was delivered by the speakers will be beneficial for all of us. We would also like to apologize if there are any mistakes during this event. It has been our pleasure to host this event. We are looking forward to see you again on another event. I wish you all a pleasant day and please stay safe at home. I'm Najmah as the MC, and I would like to say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon from Indonesia.
Terima kasih Nabila, BEM FKM Unsri, dan teman-teman audiens, terima kasih banyak atas partisipasinya. Good luck for your being you and personal your brain.